Peace, peace, peace to the universal family. We are here. My name is Clocksyn, and this is episode 10 of the Clocksyn podcast. All right, y'all. So I have a very close, dear friend here today that I'm going to be interviewing about a very specific topic. If y'all watched the last episode, you know I kind of touched astrology a little bit, but now we're gonna take it to a more scientific level, a more mathematical level. That's my new word, y'all. So, without further ado, I want to introduce y'all to a very close friend of mine, and we're gonna be going into some really deep topics about none other than astrology. Okay, so without further ado, it's my boy Chris Desir. Introduce yourself, man.
What is going on, everybody? My name is Chris Desir, the C100. I am the current day owner of Facebook group Astrology Universe, YouTube channel 100 Agency, and I am currently a avid practitioner in the celestial sciences. What does that mean? I am an astrologer. I do a particular branch of astrology, which I am still currently studying under, which is called cosmophysics. Cosmophysics is the use of predictive astrology. What does that mean? In layman's terms, that just means I can use my astrology to not only read and determine a person's mental state, emotional state, um, what defines them as a person. I can predict events in their lives coming up forward, their family lives, their brothers, their sisters, their children, their grandmothers, grandfathers, even their spouses. I can let people know when there are opportunities gifted to them in their chart for what they will like to be in their lifetime. And I am advocate about this science. It truly, truly, truly is a passion of mine to spread this to the world. And I try to help as many people as I can on my journey, not to only fully further understand myself, but to understand the whole universe around me.
Wow. Okay, so damn, bro, you just made some pretty big claims there. You said you can damn near predict someone's life based off their astrological chart. So before we even get into the questions and the interviews, how did you come across astrology and this powerful, thing to be able to do that? How did you even come across that? You know what I'm saying?
It started for me back in, I'd say, late senior year of high school and early freshman year of college. First, it just came off as a side project. I was in a science class, to keep it relevant, where I heard a friend of mine, he had said at the time he was on a website, and on this website was talking about astrology and how astrology literally is supposed to tell you everything about your life. He said he went on it and it did tell him everything about his life, but he wrote it off. So that was my first um, question. How are you able to go on this website and apparently you use it? It tells you everything about yourself, and you saying there's no need to go further into it. But I had left it there. Then, sometime around my freshman year of college, I had found a female I was interested with at the time. She was going into astrology as well. So I decided, you know what? Let me start looking into it. So I had spent around a year. This was around the time of the whole pandemic incident. I had spent around a year in the conscious community, in the spiritual space, going around and finding out as much information as I can. Because at this point in time in a person's life, they are now having liberties, they now have more freedoms than they did when they're not a child, and they want to know and see everything that they can do. I had ended up finding multiple astrology channels that were talking about how it relates to spirituality, ancient sciences, how it related to chakras, your cores, your centers, numerology, all of these vague terms that just sounded interesting to me. I kind of fell down the rabbit hole. And then I got to the point where I am here today, later down the line, but we can further get into that
Mm,
specific part of it in the
gotcha.
interview.
Okay, so y'all, just off of what y'all just heard right there, y'all can already tell my brother is highly, highly intelligent. Okay, like the way he conversates and the way he explains his strong area of focus, you can tell he's very highly intelligent. So, just for the people out there, tell them how old you are, man. Because
I have 22 and a half.
so y'all heard that 22 and a half. All right, don't mess it up. 22 and a half, and he knows all this. So we about to get into some pretty tough questions, man, because I'm about to hit you hard. Because personally, I know a lot of people who are in this community that do not believe in astrology at all, simply because of the fact that they categorize it as pseudoscience. Okay. And the title of this episode is Astrology and Mathematics Are Actually the Same. So I want you to do your best to break down the correlation between astrology and why it's not this mystical, magical thing that everybody says. And there's actually a way that we can correlate it to all the things that we do and that we have done and that we're and what we're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm about to hit you with some questions. I'm gonna just give you a brief overview of some of the questions I'm gonna hit you with, and then I'm also gonna be, ask you some questions throughout. So we're gonna go over what is astrology for just a basic person. Does it even control your life? Because I know a lot of people going to be like, oh, I don't get into astrology because it's actually like witchcraft and it controls my life. So I'm going to ask you, does it control your life? You know what I'm saying? And is it the same as some other things? So just off the bat, that's the first question to you, Chris Jazier. What is astrology?
Okay, very, very good question. When it comes to what is astrology, most people will have a subjective term to astrology. This is what astrology not only personally means to me, but what ancient, time tested things like your Bibles, your belief systems, ancient statues you will find in pyramids all over the world will tell you the same thing. I am coming from that perspective when I give this answer. This is not my subjective belief per se. This is going to be an answer based on years and years of collected knowledge from some of the smartest, most regarded people all across the planet.
Okay.
Astrology is, in basic term, the study of the universe and how it correlates to you. First question that may come to people's minds is, that's too much to know. To try to comprehend the whole universe, that is too much to know. And for me, it didn't seem like a daunting task. Astrology, when you break it down, is like this. You are using measurement of the stars in the heavens above you and correlating it to your life.
Uh,
Simple and plain as that.
so the galaxy is like a chart and it charts it out for us, basically?
Yes, and I'll tell you how it is. If you go back to the Bible, the Quran, the Torah, any of these main religions that most people may still believe and come from here today, the regular average person. In the beginning of the book of Genesis, it says, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. That means that the creator of this universe, this moral or supreme force that made us and connects us all, no matter your interpretation of it and how you personally feel, this source creation created the heavens above that we see. Anything in the heavens is what is above us, aka the sky, and the earth. Everybody knows what the earth is. We live on it, for a matter of fact. So, what does that mean when you read that verse? What is happening in the heavens happens to us here on earth. What we can see and come to prove when certain planets, the sun, the moon, Venus, Mars, you go through the list. When they are in certain sectors of the sky, certain things tend to happen here on earth to us. How do I mean this? Everybody should know a basic for astrology. I will use an example. The planet Mars points to fire. It points to the color red. It points to anger. Our ancients had to basically say, at one point when they could clearly see Mars in the sky. Anytime a fire would break out, anytime somebody would experience anger, or anytime they would see the color red, they would make a correlation to Mars being there.
So the planets are a representation of certain emotional faculties that we have. So that's interesting because the general person, when we talk about astrology, what do they always say? Their sun sign. So what does that mean? Like, how does the sun correlate to how we're acting and how we act different? What does the sun have anything to do with it?
When it comes to somebody's zodiac chart, that is the place we are currently in today. Your sun sign is a describer of you, but let me tell you something first. We are not signs. We are human beings.
Mm.
People like to confuse it. Oh, you are a Gemini, therefore I do not like you. Or you are a uh, Libra, or you are a Sagittarius, a Leo. They will say whatever sign and immediately say, oh, I don't like you because of the
Yeah,
sign, or
we
dismiss
can't
you
rock with
because
you.
of it.
You a Cancer? Oh no. Or you're a
Exactly.
Scorpio? Stay away from me.
Exactly.
Right.
This is where most people are at. The most common modern day description of how people go about astrology. You are a human being, and you are not the sun. You are not a Gemini. You are not any of these things. Remember the previous point I made. What happens in the skies correlates. For people who do not know what that word means, whatever happens in the sky goes on at the exact same time of what happens down here. The planets, the signs are not controlling you by say, or let me say it this way, you are not a sign, but when a sign is in the sky on the day of your birth, you're going to show, you're going to act a certain way that people can describe by that sign that is there.
Then that prompts the question, Chris, because this is why a lot of people don't believe in astrology because of what you just said. Because now it makes everyone question, does astrology control my life? Do I have to do certain things based on the astrological principles and how the world naturally goes and how the galaxy naturally moves and shifts in its own cycles? Do I have to now do certain things based on my sign? So if the sun is here and the moon is there, because I'm a Virgo, because I'm a Sagittarius, I have to do certain things. Does it control my life, or can I do other things? You know what I'm saying? Do we even have free will? That's the question some people have when we talk about astrology.
Do you want the honest truth?
Yeah.
The answer is no, we don't have free will.
Oh, okay.
The
Oh, I know a
answer
lot of people just clicked off of this because of that. Okay.
the answer is no, we do not. The reason why I say this is because we are not God.
Mm.
We are not the creator. We were born into this world. We didn't make the world around us. We came from parents. Everybody here has parents who had parents who have parents. You are not in full control of the world. Listen to what I'm telling you. You're not in full control of the world around you. Can you personally control your life? Yes, you can. Can you personally control what you're going to do tomorrow, how you wake up, the friends you're going to meet, the situations you're going to be in? Yes, you can. But in the grand scheme of everything, talking about, do you control the lives of everybody around you? No, that is already written. We
Okay.
are here to live an experience. We are not 100% connected to our bodies. There's a spirituality aspect to astrology too that people got to understand. It's your spirit, your fire, your spark. Everybody has that spark inside of them that keeps them alive. The spark of life, Pluto, is the planet. So Scorpio, not as a sun sign, but Scorpio as a zodiac sign, is that spark of life, that gateway that when we are born, we come into this being, come into this physical body to experience this life around us.
Okay, so because of that, right there, right, that factor of astrology being like that medium between, like you said, the science, the mathematics, but at the same time, it's also very spiritual. And this is what I've come to learn, going through my journey, learning astrology. It's very spiritual, like you said. But that also begs a question for people who are so scientific and logical. Is astrology on that fine line of pseudoscience? Is astrology pseudoscience?
The answer is astrology is the original science.
Break it down.
Astrology is the original science. Every other form of science that we have has come from astrology. It does not matter if you are talking physics, you are talking chemistry, you are talking biology, whatever scientific term you want to say, it originated with astrology. Do you know why I say this? It is because the first human beings on the face of this planet had to first see and experience a correlation between their environment and the world around them. How do I break this down? We had to interact with water first and take a drink before we started to say water is wet. If you're hungry and you have no food, think of how animals work. If you're hungry and you have no food, you're going to go out and look for something to eat. You're not too worried about why the water satisfies you. You're not too worried about why things work the way that they do. Humans have evolved over time to now gain an ability to use our minds to be able to be like, I want to do this. I want to change my environment. I want to empower myself in life. I want to, hang out with certain friends. We didn't always have the luxury of doing this. There was a point in time where we had to fight for our survival. There was a point in time in the past where the sun was not out 24/7. There was a point in time where the sun would come out for only about 2 hours of the day, and most of the day was in darkness. We have evolved over time. It takes time for us to get to this point that we are here today. Astrology, now let me tie it back in and not go too far. So when people talk about, for example, their sun signs, let me give you some things on how astrology does not control your life personally, but it does control the situations that you will be in.
That's like an oxymoron in a way.
Exactly.
If it controls your circumstances, doesn't it control your life?
Exactly. I see what you're saying. When it comes to astrology in your modern day everyday life, do not think an astrologer, when they give you a reading, it will be 100% true. It is impossible, literally impossible for anybody to get anything right 100% of the time.
I'm
There is
so
not,
glad you said that.
yeah, there is not a person on the face of this planet that is perfect. Even though I tell you, I can predict situations for you, your family members, and everything going on, I will never tell you this will happen exactly 100% accuracy. I can only give you the template for how the situation is going to be. So when people say you're a Leo, oh, I don't like Leo for XYZ reason. The reason why you don't like Leos is because you have an aspect, you have another planet next to Leo, next to the sun, your sun sign, that makes you not like that person. This is how it correlates in your life. When you're born under a Leo aspect, people only know their sun sign. The next step after your sun sign, you may know your big three. You may know your sun sign, you may know your moon sign, and you may know your rising. Do you know you have other planets too you need to know? Do you know?
Oh,
Did
other
you know?
planets. Other
Did you know
planets.
you have a Mars, you have a Jupiter, you have a Saturn, you have a um you
We
have
have a Venus, don't
Neptune,
we?
you have
Don't we have a
Venus,
Venus?
Uranus. Every planet in the solar system counts. And
Okay.
these all correlate to different parts of your body. When somebody says they're a Leo, that's like saying I'm a heart. I'm the heart. That's like saying I'm a spinal cord.
Ah, I like that
You
correlation.
you're not a spinal cord. You're not a heart. You're a
You're not a
human
spy.
being composed of all of those different parts. Everything in we can see in the sky above us correlates to us
Mm.
being who we are here today. There is no one individual part.
So when somebody says I don't like that Leo, they're not necessarily talking about the entire person. They're talking about one aspect of them. I don't like that person's leg. And they might not even be correlating to the Leo factor because that's based on their limited perception of astrology. They might actually not like a Mars placement, like you said. It might not even be the Leo side. It might be the Mars placement or their love placement, like their Venus. And they'll just categorize that entire person as their sun sign. But like he just explained, we have other sides of us, y'all. And so different aspects of us come out at different times of our life. Like I just recently found out how I am in public versus how I am in private. Damn, they're two different people. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to the predictions, I have a question for you, Chris, for the predictions, because there's a lot of other ways that people predict, right? Like if y'all know about tarot card readings, I see that online as something very similar to astrology, but I want to ask you directly: is it the exact same thing? Is the card readings? Is it the exact same thing as astrology? When we look at the signs and the Eight of Pentacles, is that all tied to the zodiac? Is it all the same thing as astrology, or is it like something completely separate?
It is based on astrology. Astrology, going back to the first point, is the study of the universe. That literally means every possible thing you can imagine. Anything and everything you can possibly imagine that you do, it is the study of it. It's the study of it. What tarot is that in the temple of Dendera in ancient Egypt, it still here today. There is a zodiac wheel described on the top of the temple and along the walls of that specific temple that they had found, lost to time, is all of the different parts and pieces that they cut out and put together to make the tarot card. So when it comes to the spirituality aspect of it, the tarot cards are, for in fact, based upon ancient knowledge. Again, like I said in the beginning, everything that we have when it comes to astrology is based on things that we've seen before, our ancestors seen before, their ancestors have seen before, over and over and over again. Because what people don't understand is this: time isn't linear, time is secular.
Hmm.
Everything repeats itself. We see patterns over and over and over and over again. You think you're new? In the eyes of God, you're just another person in the wheel.
Uh,
Astrology puts everything in perspective. You can now look outside yourself to the world around you, and it will allow you to see and will flip the image back to you and see yourself from a whole new perspective. When you put your eyes and when you open your mind to the idea, there is something out there that is bigger than me. Because a lot of people are focused on their self. You know why I brought up the planet Mars? Mars
hmm.
points to yourself, self-love, self-hate, self-affection, self-reflection, self difficulties, with self-image. Mars is that energy in all of us that points
Uh,
to the self. And it's not bad for somebody to care about themselves too much. But when it comes to things like tarot and other of these practices, that is Pisces. That is spirituality. That is hidden people's belief systems. That is all of those different things. The name of this talk today is Astrology and Mathematics. What modern day astrologers and the regular people who know very little about astrology will say is this: they will always connect astrology to the spirituality. But in astrology, whether you're using ancient astrology or you're using modern day astrology, astrology is ruled by two signs. If you're using ancient astrology, astrology is ruled by Capricorn and Aquarius. In in ancient astrology, Saturn, the planet Saturn, points to Capricorn. Capricorn is mathematics. The sign of Aquarius is science. So you have mathematics and science. Mathematics and observation. Nowhere in astrology. Nowhere in astrology. If you're talking about modern day astrology, the sign of Uranus
Mm-hmm.
points to Aquarius. That is the sign of astrology as well. Astrology is not the spirituality aspect. People love to combine their spirituality with astrology. The spirituality comes after you understand the science and the mathematics, but people love to only base astrology on spirituality and what they've read in a book, which is Gemini.
Okay. Maybe it's because of lack of understanding, because there's a lot of things you're saying make so much sense, but only because I've taken the time to actually try my best to learn these signs, right? So for the average person, when they see this much information, this much,
Mm.
complexity, they usually chalk it up to something spiritual. Because what we don't understand, we just want to put it in a bracket of, okay, it's just so high, I don't understand it because it's holy or whatever, right? And that's just it's spiritual. But you're able to break it down on such a mathematical level because you actually understand it. So for the people out there, let's help them out. I just thought out of this little new idea I want to do. Right, I want to hit you with some speed fire questions. Right, and I want you to try your best to explain to the people what these individual aspects means. First things first. What is an aspect in astrology? Because you just said earlier that there are different types of astrologies.
Mm.
So we got the Western, and we got the other side. So there's different versions of astrology, but you said they're very similar, right? But we're gonna go off some fire questions right now, and I'm gonna ask you like, what does this mean? And I want you to try to, as fast as you can, break it down for the newbies out there that don't know nothing about it, right? So, but first, what is an aspect? Because I hear that a lot. What is an aspect in astrology?
An aspect is a point where two different planets form an angle to one another.
Okay.
What I
And when
mean by
that
this is,
happens, what does that do?
if you, for example, are a Gemini sun sign, right? People will say, I can be a double cusp person. Let me explain that right now. There is no such thing as a double cusp person. Double cusps do not exist. You cannot be a Taurus Gemini. You cannot be a Gemini Cancer. Why do
Mm,
people believe this? They say, oh, well, Gemini can start, anywhere from March 20th, March 21st, not March, May 21st, May 22nd, and May 23rd, for example.
mm-hmm.
So, therefore, using the days of the year, I could be a double cusp or I'm a double cusp. They'll stand by that. They'll fight you about it. I've seen them.
Mm.
Astrology, and you're in the birth chart. For anybody who wants to find their birth chart out, you just take your birthday, go online, and just search up astrology chart. You just put in your birthday information, and you're gonna pull one up.
Oh, okay.
When you,
So, oh my bad.
yeah,
Finish your explanation.
when you look for aspects, and why I bring this up to keep it on point. Astrology is not based on the days of the year. Astrology is based on degrees. One day, there are 365 days in a year. Can everybody agree on that? Would you agree on that, Clocksyn?
100%.
There are 365 days in a year. There are about 30 days per month. Can you agree on that too?
100%.
And out of those 30 days per month, you could say that in your birth chart, we don't tell time that way. We don't equate the birth chart. You will never ever find in your birth chart, when you're talking about your sun sign, you will never see you're born on this particular month. You will never see it say, oh, you're December, you're May, May 29th Gemini. No, you're going to see you're a You're going to see you're a 6 or 7 degree Gemini. When it comes to astrology, we do not count
Mm.
by days, we count by degrees. There are only 360 degrees in any system of astrology. Going into your next question, which I'm about to let you ask before,
Yeah.
Vedic versus tropical.
Okay. So what I wanted to ask you was, because that's so funny you said that, because even though, like you said, the astrology doesn't go by the days, is there still a genuine consensus of, okay, this sign is genuinely in this time of the year, right?
Yeah,
So I was gonna ask you, I'm gonna go over just quickly all 12 signs. And I want you to break down the general consensus of what month is in, what month it's in, and then what does it represent. You know what I'm saying? Just for the people, because like you saying Gemini, you saying Capricorn, it means intelligence. Most people don't really get like what does that mean? Because I might have a Capricorn in my sign if I'm listening to this. What do you mean by intelligence? Like, give them a brief description of what it represents, and then what day of the month, what month it represents, basically,
mm.
right? So we're gonna start from the top. The first sign, Aries. What is that month?
Aries is going to be late March. What people need to understand as he goes through the signs is this: the days of the months of the year do not start the same time as the zodiac sign. There are 12 months and there are 12 signs. The signs usually start during the latter half of the month. March 21st. March 21st is the first day of spring. That is the start of Aries. Not March 20th, the day, not the 22nd. On average, it will always be March 21st is going to be Aries season, which is the first day of spring.
And when does it close?
And it closes, it will close April 20th. The start of April 20th is going to be Taurus, Taurus season.
Mm.
April
So y'all
20th,
heard that, y'all?
yeah.
Most general Aries people who are like in the beginning or middle in the beginning or middle of April are most likely Aries, y'all. So okay, cool. And so what would the next sign be? You said Taurus.
Yes, Taurus is going to be the second sign. I'm going to go over the dates, and then before I go that, let me give you a quick example of Aries and how an
Oh
Aries
yeah,
is supposed to
thank you
act.
for reminding me.
Aries from March 21st all the way to the final day being April 19th, right? Aries are action getting people, go getters. They are people who like to play sports. They can be some people who can be very impulsive at times when it comes to things. They are people who are always quick, fast. They are people who are soldiers, the first in line. They always are going to be able to be the one to start something, if for the better or for the worse. It could be anything regarding the self, anything regarding heat, fire. These are people who just love energy and action. The next sign is going
Cool.
to be April 20th. It is going to be Taurus. Taurus is going to go from April 20th to May 21st. Anybody born between April 20th through May 20th is going to be a Taurus, because May 21st is Gemini. So anybody watching this, just rewind the video and find your dates.
And all the
Gem
signs you're saying right now would be their sun sign.
yes, they're
Gotcha.
sun signs. But if you have a rising, if you happen to be more advanced and you know your rising, this applies to your rising sign as well. Taurus. Taurus signs are people who understand values. These are people who love pleasure, sensation, tactile touches. They are all forms of senses: smell, taste, touch. They are very in tune with these parts of their body. These are people who are very, um, in a sense, they are very no worthwhile towards their worth. They know their worth. They know their worth. They know, um, in terms of when it comes to the way that they think, Tauruses, they value to speak to their families. They are people who are all about morality, all forms of morality, all forms of value in those things. Gemini is going to be May 20, March, no, May 21st is going to be Gemini, and it
Okay.
ends July, May to June, May to June 21st. May 21st to June 21st is going to be Gemini.
It's the
Geminis are
third sign.
thinkers.
Okay. Third sign.
Yeah, they're going to be thinkers. These are going to be people who are communicators, thinkers. There are people who love to talk. There are people who could be news reporters, broadcasters. These are people who um always have an idea ready on the go. It just so happens that I am a Gemini sun sign and Clocksyn is a Gemini rising. We always have the ability to speak, communicate in a sense that will be easily portrayed by the people. Next is going to be Cancer. Cancer season is going to be June 22nd to July 21st is going to be Cancer season. For all you Cancers out there, you are people who are naturally more nurturing, caring, protective, more emotional. You may cry more often than most people, more intact with this. When it comes to Cancers, you are more of protectors. You are people who just know how to be in touch with your emotions. Now, before I make anybody in the astrology community mad, I just went over the first four signs. Aries is a fire sign, Taurus is a earth sign, Gemini is a air sign, and you have Cancer, which is a water sign. There are only four elements in in astrology. I just went through those four. People, when they give readings, will talk more in terms of this is more of a fiery energy, an earthy energy, a airy energy, a watery energy. I do not speak in those terms because I have a more advanced take on astrology, because to me personally that comes off a little more vague. Like when you talk about earthy, I am not a plant per se. When you talk about watery, I'm not a glass of water. Therefore for me, I do not speak in those terms, but I understand the need for people to speak that way. There
Mm.
are 12 zodiac signs. I just went over the first four. I'm about to go over the second set of four, and this is going to be the second fire sign. It is going to be Leo. Leos, you start from August 23rd is the start of Leo season. From August 23rd till August to 1 second.
That would be September, right? Sometime in September.
To yes, September 20. No, because it's going to come out next. 1 second. June, July, August, September. I have my notes just to make sure I'm not giving off a incorrect date.
Yeah, for y'all that don't know, this dude hates to give anything that is anywhere close to incorrect. He's damn near perfectionist, y'all. So for y'all perfectionists out there, y'all know y'all
And
only want to give the facts, and we appreciate that.
I'm about to give the sign of a perfectionist right after this. But for Leos, while I bring this up, Leos, you are going to be people who are more creative, loving. Leos are loving. They are naturals when it comes to abilities. They are just born natural. They can naturally speak, express themselves, give out love. These are people who are more courageous. Okay, I said June, my bad. July 22nd, because I did end up skipping one. July 22nd is going to be for Leos.
Okay.
You are more courageous, loving. These people are like that. When it comes to their natural ability, for if you're talking about their sun sign or rising, this goes from July 22nd to August 22nd. This is the range you will be a Leo. August 23rd is going to be Virgos. Virgos.
Uh-oh.
Virgos are
Uh-oh.
people that people can find a problem with. I can understand why. Because Virgos tend to be perfectionists. These are people who care about improvement, criticism. These people are naturally born with the ability to work, have abilities to keep foundation going. They can do a job. They are people who just live life to the fullest real extent that they can live it. They do not like to put on a performance, which is Leo. They love to just really show the world who they are. That is how Virgos are going to react. After Virgo is going to become Libra. Libra is going to be September 22nd. And if you don't know, as I go through this, I forgot to mention, I will mention it after these next four. Libra, for anybody who is a Libra, this is somebody who is a peaceful person. Peaceful, nice, etiquette. They care about keeping balance and harmony in their homes, in their lives, in the center stage around them. All of you Libras out there are not quick to put out your criticisms on the world like the Virgos who would come before you. When it comes to now, after Libra, it will come to Scorpios, Scorpio season,
Uh-oh.
another sign that people can find a problem with. August 20, no, October 23rd, that in between
Mm.
time right before Halloween is going to be Scorpio season. Scorpio season are people who are intense, powerful. Scorpio points to willpower. These are the people that if they cannot take no for an answer. If there's a will,
Mm.
there is a way. If somebody tells them no,
Okay.
they're going to do everything in their power to make sure that they can. They can be convincing. They are the people who can born and see the darker aspects of life going on. And it molds them into a sense that you have to go get what you want because it will not be given to you in that extent. Next, after that, is going to be November 22nd. This is going to be Sagittarius season. Happy birthday for all my Sagittarians because this is your season. It's about to come to a wrap since we're going into Capricorn, but happy birthday to all the Sagittarians. Sagittarius is this. Sagittarius is it is happiness. It is these people are adventurers. These people are people who love to seek knowledge, education. These people can come off
Mm.
as preachers, very preachy at times. They are people just love to laugh at life and take on all of these different things.
This is the third fire sign, right?
Yes, thank you for reminding me before I go into it. The last four I did right before Sagittarius. Leo is the second fire sign, Virgo is the second earth sign, Libra is the second air sign, and when it comes to
Scorpio.
Scorpio is the second water sign. These are the
Oh.
second set of four. These are the second set of four.
Okay.
Finally, we're going to come into the last set of four. The third and final fire sign we have just done is Sagittarius. Next is going to be the third and final earth sign, which is going to be Capricorn.
Mm.
Capricorn are is going to be, first of all, December 22nd. This is the start of the winter solstice. December 22nd is 0 degrees Capricorn, the winter solstice. It is not some conspiracy theory that pagans used to celebrate the winter solstice. It is just the start of it. Capricorns are and can be considered to be mean, business oriented, serious people. These are people who are very goal oriented. These are people that take no nonsense when it comes to their personality and their traits and their how they go about living the world. These are people that strive to be in control of themselves and their environment. Next is going to be Aquarius. Aquarius is going to be January 18th. Aquarius season is January 18th. Aquarians are natural born geniuses. These people are can be considered weird, eccentric, very rebellious in the way that they do. They are counter the trends and norms of society because they see the world through the lens of how they interpret it. These are
I have
how,
a brother that's Aquarius. I have a
yes,
brother that's Aquarius.
and they reason just like that. When it comes to um Aquarians too, that is the third and final air sign. Comes now the final water sign. February 18th is going to be for Pisces. Pisces. Pisces are people who are naturally in touch with the motions of spirituality, hidden stuff, mysteries, the way
Mm.
in society that we subtly send messages, signals, confirm things without necessarily signing a document or legal paper, the subliminals of how we go about life in society. That is going to be Pisces. These are people who are very, very, very well in tune with,
Would you say psychic almost?
yes, psychic abilities, the sixth sense, as people would say
Yeah.
it.
Shout
And
out to all our Pisces out there.
shout out
Shout
to all
out
the
to y'all.
Pisces. In all of
Yeah.
these type things, these are people who love music. They might be dancers, they have a natural rhythm to them. All of these different things that make up that aspect of society points to people who are naturally Pisces or have Pisces placements.
Mm, Powerful, powerful, powerful. Y'all don't know how much game y'all just got in this past hour. I damn near think y'all just got too much game, to be honest with you. And that was amazing, y'all. So I really want y'all to just really rewind that and listen to what he just said, because he just literally broke down all the signs and all the months. So you know, if you were born this month, you look up your energy, and now you have some type of homework to do. And that's the last and final question I want to ask his brother before we close out, because this is beautiful. And we can't give y'all all the game in one episode. You know, you got to come back and ask for some more. But the last thing I want to leave with is, what would you personally say to the people listening to this right now, whether it's on the podcast or people watching this right now? What homework would you want to give people when it comes to astrology? What do
When
you
it
want them to do?
comes to astrology, I'd say the homework I want y'all to do is very simple. There's this master website that nobody knows about that I'm going to give you for free that allows you to get any information you want. Get ready. GOOGLE. I want you to go to that website and put up astrology chart. Type in astrology chart, find whatever website you want. I recommend AstroSeek, ASTROSEEK, or astro.com. Put in your birthday information and just find your natal chart. Let's start one step at a time. Just pull up your natal chart.
All right, y'all. Y'all heard it from the man himself. Get it started, y'all. Start your journey through astrology, y'all. And that was amazing, man. Anything you want to shout out before we close this out?
I'd just like thank Clocksyn for having me on his podcast.
Of
And he's
course.
also a great dear friend of mine. We always get stuff done on time. I like to thank everybody who was able to attend this live stream and let you know that my goal with astrology is to not only enrich my own life, is to enrich everybody else's. Because I truly believe and will tell you we are in the age of Aquarius. This is the age of freedom. You can truly know, if you truly know what to do, you can live the life that you want with no restrictions whatsoever, to truly be free to do and be who you are.
Powerful, powerful, powerful words, brother. And just let y'all know, this will not be the last time you see this brother. I have so much to learn from this man. I know y'all do too. But without further ado, y'all, we're gonna close it out. Make sure y'all cop my book, Eight Principles of Clocksyn. If y'all want to learn a little something about me and how I do things. And make sure y'all go follow him too on Instagram and on his YouTube channel. Make sure you go support him. Chris is here. We're gonna leave the links in the description of the podcast. And yeah, y'all, this has been the Clocksyn Podcast, episode 10. Astrology and mathematics are the same thing, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. One love. Peace.
One love.